You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charlene.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. I have the beautiful Michelle Delamor with us today, and Michelle is a singer, a songwriter. She was on American Idol. She was one of the finalists. So we're going to talk to her today about her career, where she's headed, what she's doing. I'm so happy to have you here.
Aw, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first thing I'd like to ask you, of course, everyone's always, I know, ask you about American Idol.
Yeah.
So walk us through how that happened.
You know, it's such an interesting process, and it's funny that someone with my personality, or I can just speak really for myself, would do a show like that. I'm not the most competitive person. Okay. I just absolutely have always known that music is my dream and that I was going to do it regardless. And it was actually my sister who pushed me to do it. Okay. So my sister asked me one day, well, I had already been working with a team of people and, you know, working on my music. And you know how the industry is. There's ups and downs. And Charlotte was like, I think it's time for a change. Charlotte's my sister and my manager.
Right.
But at the time, she wasn't my manager. She was just my best friend and sister.
Okay.
And so, yeah, she just was like, I think you need to do the show. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And so I promised her I would do it. I didn't know the show was going to come into town a month later. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she texted me and she's like, hey, auditions are in a month. And I turned my phone off. And then I was like, I can't run away from my sister forever. So it's like, okay, I did say I would do it. And I went, and it was a crazy, crazy process. It was amazing. 110,000 people auditioned my year. So
wow.
Yeah, it was insane. The entire process was insane. It was like going through the biggest boot camp of my life. And it tested every area of me as a person. And I'm so happy I did it. You know, I really, really am.
Wow. So if you could pick just a few things that you walked away from that show with, what would you say those things were as far as enhancing you as a singer and in your career? You
know, I think the biggest thing for me was like identity. I think when you're in a setting like that where there's millions of people watching you, right? And then there's these 4 judges staring at you, and they all have opinions of who they believe you are, who they believe you should be. My biggest challenge was staying true to who I was in the midst of all of that. And I think that my biggest takeaway was actually I had this great platform and I was on the show, and yeah, I was a finalist and that was great, but I never felt like I truly showed the world exactly all of who I was, and for different reasons. One, I was still figuring myself out, you know, and you have all this advice and all these different things, and at the same time, you know, you want to win the show. So you're just like, okay, well, if you're telling me that's what it's going to take, then I'll just do it. But that didn't help me, so I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
I appreciate advice. I really, really do. But I think nothing is more important than being you as authentically and fiercely as you possibly can. So that was my biggest lesson.
I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of times, especially with young artists, coming up, they start out being original, right, and then they try to push themselves or mold themselves into something that someone else thinks they should be, and it takes away from, you know, who they are. Right. And so what advice would you give a young person just starting out in the business who can sing or wants to get into the business? What is some advice you could give them? I
have to say, you know, we're living in an era that is all about self-sufficiency. So first of all, I think it's really, really important to hone your craft and you know, just take the time and the discipline to really work on yourself and figure out who you are as an artist. Really, truly know who you are. Like, what's your message? What's your sound? What's your look? Like, all of that. Figure that out. And because no one should be able to decide that for you. You should decide that for yourself. And then from there, you know, kind of study. We're not, you know, it's amazing. It's so great. I think before people used to just say, well, one day I want to be a singer. I'm just going to get signed and let it all happen. But, you know, it's so much more empowering. And my advice would be really learn every area. If you want to be a singer, learn about the marketing, learn about the publicity, learn about what it takes to do videos. It doesn't mean you have to do all of it, but know enough that you can make it happen and you don't have to depend on anyone else. So, yeah.
Exactly. So you're not trying to tell them to be self-sufficient.
Self-sufficiency is key. It is everything.
Yes.
And consistency. My God, there's so much advice because I've had to learn and I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, consistency, discipline, self-sufficiency, all of it. Yeah.
Now the consistency part.
Right.
That to me is one of the bell ringers because, you know, it's hard to be consistent.
It's hard.
It's really hard. So what do you do to stay consistent?
It's interesting because I feel like right now more than ever is where I've really made a conscious choice to remove any patterns in my life that were causing me to not be consistent. So I'm kind of in the middle of that right now. For me, it's creating a schedule. And just being super detailed and super focused and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Everybody has a different way of doing things. I like everything to look really pretty. So if I have a calendar that tells me what I'm supposed to do and it looks really purple and really cute and everything, I'm not going to want to disappoint myself or that cute calendar. So it's like, just making sure you set up whatever it is that motivates you to do those things daily and consistently, just kind of set those things up. For me, I listen to people that have succeeded, people that I admire. Lisa Nichols is one of those. Obviously, Tony Robbins, people that are winning in the game of life.
Yes.
How did they get there? I want to know what is it that is driving them to success, and just taking the things that resonate with you.
Now, you are very multifaceted. Okay, so you have more than one thing going on, and we talked about that a little bit before we came on. So, in addition to singing and writing your own music, and we're going to hear some of that in a minute. I'm so excited. But in addition to all of that, you also have causes that you're a part of too. Yes. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about this new project that you're working on that I was told about. So what is that?
So I am beyond excited and elated, and there aren't enough words to tell you how I feel about this. My sister and I, we've just formed a nonprofit. It's called No Girl Left Behind.
Yay! Like your t-shirt.
Like my t-shirt. Repping it every day. It is such a passion project. It is more than a passion project. I think it's very much so my life purpose. I believe that music, I really, with all of my heart, believe that music is the greatest platform to do these things that I was meant to do, to affect lives for as many girls around the world as I can. So we have an incredible team of girls. We do workshops that, deal with. We work with girls who have self-esteem issues, or maybe they're cutting, or, maybe they don't feel good enough. Maybe they feel unworthy, girls between the ages of 13 to 18. Then we also do women in prisons. We do women with domestic violence issues. Wherever there's a girl in need, we're there to lift them up, giving them the tools to succeed in life and live life at their highest potential. So I have an amazing team that I work with. And then we highlight different causes, different things that affect women, whether if it's domestic violence or sex slave trafficking or homeless women, which is something you and I have been speaking of.
Yes.
Is I love all of what you do, and I'm so happy to always be in your presence because you're just amazing and inspiring.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, and then also one of the things that we're going to be doing is providing scholarships for girls to live the life of their dreams. So this is I'm so happy. I know that we can touch as many girls around the world, and I've been able to witness girls have breakthroughs in front of my eyes, and nothing makes me feel more fulfilled and satisfied than that. So
yes, and everyone I think deserves a leg up, no matter where they start from.
Right,
they deserve an opportunity.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's just everybody has what it takes. I mean, it's coded in our very being. We have what it takes to succeed. We are meant to live out the life of our dreams because we all come with a purpose. And sometimes it just takes a little reminder, a little nudge, someone to tell you you can do this. And if a girl comes to our workshop, they're going to experience a lot more than you can do this. They'll really have breakthroughs. And that's the idea. We want everyone to just live life at their highest potential.
That's amazing. So with that, what made you decide to do this? Because, music is a wonderful platform, and we talked about multiple streams of income. And when you diversify yourself, you can get to do the things that you really are passionate about in addition to what your talent is. So, I want to digress a little bit. Where did you grow up? How did you come to be this amazing person that you are?
You are so sweet.
What was the start of this, Michelle?
Oh my God, my mother was the start of all of this.
She is a wonderful. I love your mother, by the way.
Thank
she
you.
is wonderful. Aww, beautiful heart.
She's so great. My mom is the biggest inspiration for me because her story within itself is one that touches me deeply every time I even experience her speaking about it, just seeing what she overcame and in her childhood, the abuse that she went through as a kid, and her decision to make sure that my sister and I never had to go through those type of things. And so she really provided this very strong foundation, a foundation of love, a foundation of spirituality. And that really is what what drove me to do a lot of what I do. We would have prayer groups at home where like 30 kids would sleep over, and my mom would teach them about meditation and prayer and like, what are your goals and what do you want to do? And that's how I grew up. By the age of 11, I was studying to be a minister. I was the youngest one in my class. Everyone else was adults, of course.
Right.
And, you know, by the age of 12, I spent some time living in an ashram, which was so cool of my mom and my sister to be okay to let me go and experience that. When you live in an ashram, your life is service. And so everything that has to do with foster care or people that are living with AIDS, whatever that is, you know. So I experienced a lot of that. And then I was mentored by motivational speakers and ministers and things like that. And it wasn't so much like, oh, this is the career. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to have a nonprofit one day. It was just like, this is where my heart is.
Right.
And you know, I'm so grateful that I had someone like my mom to kind of be there every step of the way and provide such a solid foundation. And then my sister, obviously, being my very best friend in life, and she's my manager and everything. We kind of do everything together. It's so cool. So yeah, that's kind of what brought me to here. Then music has been from as far back as I can remember. I remember being like 4, maybe 5. My dad's art studio, and he's a painter.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, my mom used to manage my dad, and we'd travel around all over, and we would be half homeschool, half public school. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool. And so he would be painting, and he always played this like blues and rock music, Led Zeppelin and Janis Joplin and all these like blues singers, you know. And instead of going out to play with all the other kids, I just wanted to mimic and every little detail and learn every little detail of the fabric of the voices of these singers that I was listening to, and I just wanted to be like them. I was like 4 and 5, and I would sing there every day, and like music has always just been my greatest love ever. So I never knew that all these things that I was doing were going to come together, but it seems like now more than ever, it all makes sense.
It all makes sense.
And it's all just come together seamlessly. So that's kind of a very long-winded answer.
No, I love it. And so who are some of the artists that influence you today?
Music artists?
Yes, music artists.
Gosh, there's so many people. First and foremost, Michael Jackson. I know he's not here in person anymore, but he's like my biggest inspiration. One of the reasons, like one of the people as a kid that I would look at and be like, wow, I want to do that one day. You know, I actually have a tattoo of like his shoes on me.
Oh, wow.
It's the first tattoo I ever got. Very painful. I love like Rod Stewart. Tina Turner is like my freaking hero. I think she's amazing. But then like modern artists, like contemporary artists right now, I love Sia. I love Coldplay. Obviously Beyonce is so amazing. Like I think she's one of the greatest performers of our generation, as everyone knows. And Bruno Mars. I listen to a lot of rock too. Muse. God, there's so many. The list goes on and on.
So you're not just focused on one genre of music when you listen. You're listening to plethora of music.
Absolutely. Yeah, which has been interesting in creating and finding a sound that feels like me, because I listen to so many different things. So yeah.
Right. And speaking of your music,
yes.
Now, do you have any projects coming up? What's going on with your music?
Oh my God, so much. Okay, so I'm recording a lot right now. I'm in the studio about 4 times a week, just kind of like hashing all the songs out, writing a lot, writing with an amazing team of writers and a really, really awesome producer. His name is Ettore Grenci. He's one of the top Latin producers. So we're going to be releasing my music for the American market, but also for the Latin American market. So really excited about that. So yeah, we're in the process of working on my EP and just really excited about it.
Oh my goodness. And so during the writing process, I have no knowledge of this, by the way, because I am not a writer nor a singer. So in the writing process, how does that happen? Like what is your process for writing?
It comes about different ways. Sometimes it's funny, like if you look through my phone or my voice memos, I have like shower idea, car idea, airport idea. Like you have like all these little voice memos that are just like things are constantly coming to my head, you know? And so that's one thing. So usually an idea will come to my head, and then I'll whoever I work with, I'll be like, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I came up with. Let's develop it from here. Sometimes, you know, you just start from scratch and magic happens. I think that it's so beautiful. My favorite thing in the world is to collaborate with other writers, because we become almost like one person. Maybe I would have thought of something that they would have never, and vice versa, and we just create something magical that that's even better than if I would have done it alone, or, so I absolutely love working in teams. I've always been a team person.
Yeah. So you do music, you do writing, you sing, you
design
clothes.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So what's going on? Like, have you been designing clothes recently?
Yeah. So I'm working on all the clothes right now for my projects. So first we'll be doing all my clothing, and then the clothing for my band, and everything that you'll be seeing in photo shoots and music videos that we release and all that stuff will be clothing that I've designed. And then my sister later on will release our clothing line for the public. So yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot going on. Do you sleep?
A little bit. I have my days.
Then I heard from someone that you bake also.
I love baking. Oh my God, that's so random.com. But let me tell you, I love baking. I love cupcakes and cake pops. I have the biggest sweet tooth in the world. So if I can ever squeeze in any time to make cupcakes, I do that. My friends
Any excuse is good enough.
Any excuse is good enough. Next time I see you, I'm going to have to bring you some cupcakes.
Okay, I love it. And so, this is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we talk about finance a lot here. And so I really want artists who are listening to this to get a full understanding of the fact that even though you may have a beautiful voice and can sing, and you may be able to write, you need multiple streams of income to sustain yourself, because you can't live your life in a silo. Right? Because, incomes fluctuate in entertainment. And you and I talked about that briefly. So how do you decide what your multiple streams of income are going to be? Because everybody decides differently.
Yeah, everyone absolutely decides differently. I think that a lot of times it's because you hear that and it almost sounds overwhelming, like now I got to think of all these other streams, but actually a lot of times it all comes together. So for me, a lot of it is within entertainment. So obviously for music and being a recording artist, but then when you're a recording artist, you create a brand, right? So there are offset products from being a brand, so like the clothing line or a nail polish line that we're working on, or different things. I'm working on writing a book as well. So like all these different areas are also streams of income that can come into the picture.
Exactly. And it's all things that you are passionate about.
Absolutely.
And, enjoy doing. So for the artists out there, don't just focus in one area when it comes to your income, because you have to be able to survive. So as you develop your talent, look at other ways to make money too, right?
And even within whatever it is that your industry is, even as a recording artist, to kind of think outside of the box, what are the most creative ways to monetize? How can I do this in a non-traditional format?
Right.
And then from there, the door is open. Absolutely.
And listen, because sometimes we don't hear opportunity.
Right.
It could be staring us in our face.
Oh my God, yeah.
It doesn't look like we thought it would look.
Right.
So we kind of ignore it.
Or we're not ready. A lot of times I feel like we're sleepwalking.
Exactly.
It's like the answer can be right in your face. The book can be right there. You could be right on the page looking at the paragraph that's telling you exactly what to do. But if you're not ready and if you're not open and awake to it, you miss it. It doesn't mean that you're going to miss it forever. It just takes longer.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I think for that, though, there are things. I mean, this is kind of going on a more spiritual thing. But for me, I feel like meditation works because it allows me to be more awake and receptive to everything in the world. Then all the doors just all of a sudden start opening. Charlotte and I were like, we need this thing for the DJs or whatever. And one day, randomly, I'm like, I didn't even know this man lived on the 12th floor, the guy that manages the top 10 DJs in the world.
See?
I didn't even know that. And I see him all the time, but now I'm ready. And so he's ready.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You just have to always be ready and just be receptive and be awake. Be awake.
Exactly. And understand that if the opportunity comes to you, you're ready for it.
Yes. Oh my God.
You are ready for it, because
Absolutely.
the teacher doesn't show up unless the student is ready, and the opportunity doesn't show up unless you're ready for it.
Right. And the only reason why we think we're not ready is because we project this idea of fear. We project this idea of what's going to happen if not. We trick ourselves out. We're not really ready. But absolutely.
Jump out there. And,
just jump out fearlessly.
Earn while you learn.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
Earn while you learn.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the way it's done.
Yeah.
Most people aren't ready for the positions that they move into.
Yeah.
They may be ready, as far as their talent is concerned, or they may be ready education-wise, but they haven't done it.
Right.
So why say no?
And I think one of the things that I have struggled with, is perfectionism. I am a perfectionist to the next degree. I think a lot of times people think of perfectionist as a positive thing, but it can be a positive thing and it can be negative. I think that if you're always searching for this idea of perfection, a lot of times you end up missing deadlines. Like you end up missing the opportunity because you wanted it to be something that it's never really going to be, because in your eyes as a perfectionist, it's never going to get to where you want it to get.
And you have to let go of it.
Let it go. Let it go. It's something that, you know, my sister's been like, just let it go. And I'm working on it because, I mean, she's walked into my room at 3 a.m. and I'm like, no, the dots are not, they're not the size. She's like, no, we're just moving on. Because, you know, sometimes you just got to let it go. I think it's really important to have a balance where you just, you know, you don't over consume your mind with how it's supposed to be. Sometimes we get too caught up in that and don't even allow the process to take place.
But when you're when you have a creative mind, I think that perfectionism kind of goes hand in hand with that, because you see this vision and you want it to look exactly the way you see it or hear it.
Right. So this is why, for me, what's working for me right now is like we put deadlines, right? So I have all the time in the world to be a perfectionist as long as I want up until September 20th. By September 20th, whatever it is, it gotta be out. So I better get my perfectionist like self like working up until September 20th. And then, yeah, absolutely. Like that's just the best way to do it. If not, it'll be like 2025 and no record ever came out.
Exactly. Yeah. And you'll be like, no, I just got to tweak it just a little bit more. Just a little more.
Right. It's a beautiful thing to be a perfectionist. Just never let that be what's actually causing self-sabotage.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. We did a workshop on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't even realize sometimes that it goes so beyond. It's actually like, do you feel worthy? Like, what are you really holding back from? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to your nonprofit stuff a little bit.
Yes.
And talk to you about that. And I wanted to find out, like, I know, like, when you're out and about, you have the biggest heart ever. And when I asked you about, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, to come and sing at a Mother's Day event that I had for homeless women with their children. We had this big Mother's Day event, and you were so sweet. And you and your sister and mom came, and they were so blessed by it because you were so approachable. And I just watched you take pictures with them and sign autographs and dance. And then at the end, you and your sister danced with everyone. And for weeks, they talked about that.
That's so sweet.
And so sometimes, you know, when a person says, oh, I'm going to start a nonprofit or I'm going to do something nonprofit related, it almost comes off as, you know what I mean? Like cheeky.
Right.
But for you, it's a part of your being, really caring about people and wanting to help them in the ways that you can. So, like, you told me a story, and I really want to hear that on air about a situation that you were in recently.
You know, there's so many different things that, like, motivate me to do as much as I can for girls. I think, first of all, it's not that I don't care about men. I would like to just say but we do believe empowered women empowered women empower men. So at the end of the day, we help the mothers, we're helping everybody.
That's right.
We help the women, we're helping everybody.
That's right.
But, you know, actually, it's funny you talk about the homeless women situation, because I did have an experience. And yeah, we see homeless people all the time, and it's always sad. A lot of times, you know, we've actually become desensitized. You just see it all over. It's so many people. It is what it is. But the other day, for some reason, it was just so upfront in my face. There was this woman who came up to the car and asked for food. She didn't ask for money. She said she was hungry. I was going to Subway. And it just immediately, I was like, oh my God, she's hungry. Like, she's really hungry, you know? So she said she had kids. And I was like, well, where are your kids? And she pointed, and they were like down the block, and we could see them. She was like, you know, I don't want them to do the begging with me. And it just like totally broke my heart that that's the reality that she's living in at that moment. You know, we can change our reality at any moment, but at that moment, that's her reality, and it's heartbreaking. And so she came inside with me, and we got her subs for her and her 2 children. And I gave her a hug, and it shocked her. But then she became emotional because she just didn't expect someone to like hug her, you know? And it was a moment that just made me feel like, God, I got in the car and I just started crying. I just started crying because I was like, I wish I could have done more. Like, I wish I could do more. What can I do? I know that I got her food, but like, what can I do? And then I was like, wait a second. We have a nonprofit. Of course we could do stuff. Like, that's the whole point of No Girl Left Behind. No girl left behind. That means any area that affects women, we can create positive change.
That's
we can do something about it. So it's so many different things like that that constantly remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I love it so much.
Oh yeah, because I know that for myself too. Like, it affects me when I see and it bothers me, and I want to do more. And, and they, you know what? I had a very wise woman tell me this. She said, Charlene, any help you can give is more help than was given.
Right.
And so
That's
with that,
beautiful.
that way
I
you
love
don't
that.
become overwhelmed, because like you said, there are so many that sometimes you become almost desensitized by the amount of poverty and sadness that there is out there. So for you to be doing something so positive and starting your own nonprofit organization to help girls so that they get what they need before they get to an age where sometimes people turn their back.
Right.
So I think the younger we can start helping them, the better.
Absolutely. And also this is not even so much so like looking down on the people that are in those situations, or even seeing them as like these people that we have to have pity for. Everyone has within them the ability to succeed and to live life at their highest potential. So what we really want to do is just hold that vision for them. We see them in this situation, but I don't want to see you there. I'm not going to focus my consciousness on seeing you down on the ground. I'm going to see you lifted up. And that's what we're all about. We just want to raise the consciousness so that people, elevate. We can't. If we all just get into this sad consciousness and we all just want to cry about it, nothing's going to get done. Nothing gets done. We're just all sad. Actually, it took the people that weren't in a bad place steps backwards. So it's about really seeing them, and we can actually find joy in seeing the positive. And what's the solution? Let's go straight to the solution.
Yes.
Yeah, you might feel it. I cry. I cry. In the workshops, I cry. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like Jesus. You just never know what's going to happen. You just start crying, but immediately it's like, what's the solution? What's this? And how can we fix it?
Can we fix this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can. We always can.
Exactly. So you have a nonprofit.
Yes.
You are starting a clothing line, and your fashions will be seen in your upcoming video that you're going to shoot. And so you have a tour that you're going to be doing. And then you also, you haven't put your music out yet.
No.
Because you're not finished. But you're going to let us
world premiere.
I
have to tell you, this is because I love you so much.
Thank you. I feel so fortunate.
Because this is so funny too, because this is me getting out of my perfectionist state, because it's not out yet for anyone. It's not even completed, and we're going through songs and picking the favorites, and we've recorded like the first draft of them. This is not even like, by the time people hear the song, it'll probably be a little more glossy and fixed up and things like that, but you guys are getting like the raw edit, like I love super it. Like one of the songs that is just very dear to my heart. It's actually about letting go of the perfectionism, and it's called Work of Art, because it's like this entire time I was trying to be that perfect person. I was trying to be someone else that I wasn't even, but all this time I actually was a work of art. I was a masterpiece from the beginning. I just didn't see it. So it's that realization, and that's
I
the
love
song.
it. Can we listen to it, Ed?
Woo.
Woo!
No hair out of place, pink lips, happy face, bright eyes won't give me away. Stand straight, button up, perfect's not enough. These walls are getting in my way. And these voices, they say that I can't now, but I'll scream loud enough, make them back down. Make them back down. All this time I was painting someone else. I was covering myself and all the things that I should be. But with these scars, I'm a perfect work of art. There was beauty from the start, hidden them, but now I see. I'm a perfect work of art. I'm a perfect work of art. I'm a perfect work of art. My head's out of place. This smile I can't erase. Colors are filling up my eyes. And those voices, they said I would break down, but I won't back away. I am strong now. I am strong now. All this time I was painting someone else. I was covering myself and all the things that I should be. But with these scars, I'm a perfect work of art.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's the #1 hit.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I love it.
I can't wait, to be able to share that with everyone else. I'm so happy to have been able to share that with you guys first.
Thank you. I feel so blessed and privileged. Thank you so
Aw,
much.
It's a really personal song, It wasn't so much about, what's the sound, what's it, this, that, and the other. It's like, how am I feeling? What am I going through? And that's what kind of just came out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know what? It speaks to where so many women are.
Right.
I can't speak to what men feel, but I
Right.
can speak to what women feel.
Right.
And that's so much of where a lot of women are and
Absolutely.
can identify with that song because you are already made in God's perfect image.
Yes.
And so we try to tweak it and fix it and make ourselves look like something that we're not when we are already beautiful.
Yes.
And so I really appreciate you for making a song like that. And I think it's going to go a long way. And it definitely speaks to not only your heart, but it also is inspiring. So I love it. I love it. I can't wait for the album to come out.
Thanks.
Now, as an artist, artists, they want to stay relevant.
Yes.
And so from an income perspective, that's the only way I understand relevance. Okay?
Right,
So,
right.
can you support yourself?
Yeah.
Right? And so from an income perspective, what do you think an artist needs to do so that they can ground themselves financially?
I think they need God, there's so many different areas. I think, first of all, create a brand that is strong enough that other companies want to be a part of. A lot of funds come through that. There's so many opportunities when you create a brand that is super tight and consistent and cohesive. And just be creative. Just come up with different things like packages. And, there's so many different ways that you can, create things within your industry. For music, I know in this day and age, we can't do anything the way it was done before.
No.
At all. So one of the things is obviously performing a lot is one way to create funds. But come out with like ideas and apps, and more than anything, it's like, God, just create such a strong brand. And we're in an era where everything is on the internet and everything is like social media, and people are winning. When you have all of your stuff like tight and set up, like you will win. So that's kind of the main thing.
I love it. Oh, everyone's going to get such great nuggets from you today. Not only is she beautiful, but she's smart and she understands the money game. I have another question.
Yes.
Okay, this one was a question that someone asked me to ask. So it says, looking into the future, what investments have you made in your career as an artist or as a businesswoman that you feel sets you up for longevity and financial freedom?
Oh, that is amazing of a question. I would say, gosh, I've been in investment for a while. I've been all of me. I mean, we've been investing in every area. So if it's like the fashion side of me, but really kind of investing in my brand in general. I think that's been the main thing. We've been investing in creating something that's solid and consistent. And so, a lot of funds go into that. And that's something that actually people haven't even seen yet because it's something that we are working towards now. But a lot of funds have been going into that. Once I do that, that'll set me up to, get to the next level and succeed at a higher level as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you see Michelle doing over the next 5 years?
So much. Definitely, I would love to already be doing like a really big world tour. I would love that.
Definitely.
I'd love to have in 2 years at least 2 albums out. I'd like the fashion line to be out, and I would love to see No Girl Left Behind just on an international scale, that we do workshops and that the movement grows, that it grows substantially from where it is now.
Right. And then how do you see funding the nonprofit? Like, how do you see getting funding for that? Is that a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing fundraisers. Okay. We're coming out with a line of shirts that'll be for the nonprofit specifically that we're really excited about. Of course, we have to like infuse fashion and everything.
Of course, of course.
We're like,
fashion, art, music, fashion, art, music.
Right. So we're, there's so many different areas. We've actually been brainstorming. Last week we had, or was it like 2 days ago? God, the days they melt.
They do.
We had a meeting on that as well. So we'll be doing all kinds of, we'll have a gala and we'll have fundraisers, and there's so many different ways to bring in the funds.
Oh my goodness, this has been such an exciting interview. I'm so excited about your being here. Now, if someone wanted to follow you or figure out how to get in contact with you or just see what you're doing and what your upcoming events are, how would they do that?
So I currently live mostly on Instagram, and that is just my name. It's at Michelle Delamor. Delamor with no E. I'm not Italian, but I love Italian food. So it's MICHELLEDELAMOR. That's my Instagram. Twitter is mdelamor, and then my Facebook fan page is official Michelle Delamor.
Perfect.
And I would love to hear from you all.
Definitely. You know, I think you're the person to follow.
Aww,
you're definitely a rising star.
So sweet. Thank you so much.
But I love the fact that you are building a foundation. You know, I was talking to Q yesterday, and that's what I was telling him. You know, creativity along with a strong foundation breeds success. You know, so you have to have that infrastructure that you're building. So I really respect that, because it's not one faceted, it's multifaceted, but it's all a part of your brand because it all speaks to who you are as a person. And I think that's extremely important if you're going to be a successful artist or whatever you're going to do, is to have a strong foundation. And I love the fact that you and your family have taken the time to build that.
Right.
Not get distracted by whatever's going on around, but build a strong infrastructure so that as you rise, your brand rises with you. It goes before you, it goes after you, it's under you, and it helps support everything that you do. That is the best business plan.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely love the fact that you've done that.
Oh, thank you.
Because it just breeds success. Because we were talking, you know, income comes in silos. You know, it's not always one thing that's going to maintain you. So you have to have multiple streams of income to keep yourself going as an artist.
Right. And I think mentors are very important. And if you don't have access to someone who is doing what you do at a higher level or at a level that you'd like to be at least study those people and kind of, you know, mentally they can be your mentors without even meeting them, and maybe one day you will. But to study those that are doing great, to study those that have gone before us and succeeded, I think that's like huge.
Well, they say success leaves clues.
Absolutely.
You know, and these people write books and, you know, they give talks on YouTube and, you know, it's all out there. So like you said, if you want to succeed, you will. Take that quantum leap and just, you know, go for it. Just go for it.
And I heard something recently, because I think like my theme for this year was live fearlessly. I have to give myself themes every year. Live fearlessly was for this year. And I heard something, I believe it was Lisa Nichols, who said, like, fear is only a story that you've created you're projecting.
Yes.
And I was just like, that is so real. It just shut down my fear. What was I doing? Like, why was I even afraid in the first? I created that. It's true. It didn't even happen, and I'm scared that's going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's beautiful. Just, like, let go of that thing that you've created. What's that story? And replace it with something positive and just move forward. Let's just do this. Let's win.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Yeah. So now with your clothing line coming out and with your, obviously, your recording of your album. So are you signed to a label or are you independent?
No, so I'm actually independent at the moment, but I'm working with a really awesome team of people. Really, really great. And there's quite a few things like on the table at the moment. So we're, you know, once everything is done with the music, some decisions will be made, but we have an amazing team working with us at the moment. I'm very excited about.
But I love the fact that you're working independently, because doesn't that give you a lot more flexibility? You're able to have more control and do it exactly the way you want to do it.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. In the past, I've had the opportunity to sign with majors. I've had the opportunity to sign with like these huge producers and different people, although I'm working with really big producers now. But the issue is, a lot of times you lose who you are. For a moment there, I was kind of like, okay, the opportunity's there. This is huge, like commercial success instantly. But then who am I? I almost felt like I was becoming a robot. I wasn't myself at all. And I'd rather not do it if I'm not going to do it as me, you know? Yes. And even if it means it takes a little longer and it takes a little more work and I got to wake up earlier, I got to go to sleep later, or we got to figure it out and learn things that I've never learned before. Like, let's just do it. It's awesome. And if anything, it makes the story that much better.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. The road to success is always intriguing.
Yes.
That's why you're here. So I want you to promise me something before we wrap up,
Yes.
and that is that you will come back and visit us again.
I would love to.
Would you? And bring
I
your
would love
sister
it.
back, and let's
Yes.
talk about that clothing line once you get it all finalized.
Yes.
I'd love, love, love to do that, because I have a feeling, I know this to be true, that we're going to see a lot from you.
Thank
We're
you.
going to see a lot from you, and I just feel privileged that I've had an opportunity to be able to catch on to that rising star that you are and watch
Aw.
you just explode.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
so grateful. Thank you for having me here. You guys are all so amazing, so sweet. It's a beautiful energy in here, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I think we're going to wrap.
Awesome.
This is it.
This has been fun.
This is Miss Charlene, and thank you so much for tuning in to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. You can follow us on Instagram. You can check us out on YouTube, and just look for the Finance Bunch. Follow us, watch us, listen to us on Accelerated Radio. And that's it for today. Michelle Delamor, thank you so much for coming in. This has been a pleasure.
Oh, yes, it's been great. It's so much fun.